Hi guys, Anastasia is here and welcome back to the New Leaders Show. We have Ronan Wall here today, partner and manager of Absolute Ventures, syndicate that invests in early stage tech companies. And we're reviewing our second startup today. It's called Healthy Nibbles. The team is from London. We're ready to jump in and give honest feedback live, seeing it for the first time. We're gonna go after the deck, after the short blurb. The blurb is actually being copied from the deck, so it's not the real blurb that the founder would send.
Got it.
So don't criticize it too much. Okay. But yeah, let's go.
Super, okay. So I'm opening up the email. I love this format, by the way. A little nervous, kind of excited. Okay, really nice. This is succinct. It's got me excited. Names the clients. I understand how much money they're looking for. Really well put together. Oh, here we go. Yeah, 22. Okay, so 22 is a lot.
At this point, I'm like.
So it's okay for now, but this instantly makes me look at my watch. I'm like, do I have time to go through 22 slides? If it's 15 minutes to lunch, if I'm got a meeting I need to prep for, I'm probably going to park this. So you're just on the back foot immediately. So I would always advise to go for no more than 12 slides.
Okay, so the checkpoints so far are data play and sustainable business.
Correct. So I really like this now. This is good. My challenge with it is I'm on slide 4 and I still haven't gotten to the problem slide. I've gotten a little bit to a solution and then what the product does. Okay, so as I flick through, this isn't a normal flow, which just causes me to pause again and look at my watch because I'm thinking, okay, 22 slides, not in an easy format, a lot of writing and content. I'm already thinking this is going to take me an hour if I really want to get into this. Now I'm prepared to because it's data and it's social change. But that might put off a lot of other investors. I would pause and I would not read this right now if it was the middle of my day. This is something I would park until the evening, and that's a risk. You don't want me to do that.
Because you might forget about it.
Yeah, and my daughter is going to want to do something this evening.
Right.
So you're just, when you delay it, you risk. So this is a beautiful slide deck. It's really well put together. I can see that these guys already have some sales and some traction. But you're really forcing me to engage in this to get through it. If I were to read this now, truthfully, I'm not going to read the paragraphs. I'm going to skim and I'm going to take the titles and the headers to see if I can translate this into something. Okay, so I can see that these guys have done their homework.
Right.
My guess is that they're not first-time founders. They're presenting really good information that I want, which is keeping me engaged. But man,
there's a
text. Yeah, like, okay, I don't think they need the paragraph. And half of every slide is the same pictures.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that. But I'll assume it's a sustainable business. That is one component of what Absolute Ventures is focusing on. And it's not very easy to get good deal flow in companies that are truly social change. Something I adopted recently from a friend of mine was something that I can share here. When someone asked me what I meant by social change, I didn't really have a good definition. So a friend of mine shared this with me and they said, if the company removed the social component from their business, if their business no longer existed, they're truly a social change company. If it's something else like Tom's, if they stopped giving a pair of shoes to a third world country when you buy your shoes, their business wouldn't actually change very much. In fact, their profit margin would increase. So that's not a true social change. So that's the lens I would put on this. And if it's not truly sustainable social change, if it's we donate 1% of profits, that's a great thing to do, but my warning is just not to overplay it and call it what it is whenever you're making that pitch. If I can do a skim and leave excited, that's great. There's a good chance I'm just going to reply immediately and say, hey, let's get 30 minutes set up. If I've got to put it back, I might not go back to it. So yes, I'll do a skim on the mobile, and if it's mobile friendly and digestible,
that was
I can do it on a commute.
Right.
I can do it over a sandwich. That's great. It's really interesting because I don't think many people think about mobile first when it comes to the pitch deck.
Yeah.
Many products are now mobile first, but it's something I hadn't considered before today how important it was. One other thing as well is there's one whole slide dedicated to one quote. Quotes for me aren't traction. Because I might have a friend who's the CEO of a company and he will say whatever I want him to say in a quote, and I stick it on a slide. So they don't do the same thing for me as numbers do. And if you show me 100 sales yesterday and 200 today, I'm much more impressed than the CEO of that company saying how much he likes the product. So don't get me wrong, I'm still interested. I'm still working on. I'm on slide 6 of 22. This is the tailored solutions slide where they talk about potential customers, but then just give ways of reaching those customers, I think. So I get thematic explanations from this, but again, I don't know of the 244 million, how many they've reached, how many they can reach from their existing client base, how much of it is expected through growth. I don't understand how many they intend to reach at the point of exit. And this is a really interesting piece. So I mentioned that this is a data play. This is the first mention of data, and this is the piece that I would hone in on. So what's the data that they can gather, and who is the customer for that data, and how valuable is it? So that's the big thing I want to get out of all of this. I've kind of moved beyond the snacks. I eat snacks, everyone eats snacks, they'll find people to sell snacks too, but what's the data you get back? To whom are you going to sell that, and of what value is that data? So that's the thing I really want to learn out of the next few slides. That's kind of cool if they can connect your eating habits in a more seamless fashion to your phone or your watch or whatever the case might be, because I think that's a little bit of a challenge. Being someone who attempted to do this for a while, tracking my eating patterns was difficult as part of me understanding my own kind of wellness. So if there's something they can do there, I think that's an unlock and opens up the whole FitBit, AppleWatch opportunity as well. This is something that founders tend to do within decks as well. They can't help themselves because they're, by the nature of what they do, optimists and full of really good ideas as to how they can sell their product. I wouldn't mix future opportunities within the deck, particularly at this early stage of a company. I'd always advise you to keep it to the appendix, and then your finances should reflect the earnings that you're going to get from the product you described, which should be very focused and should involve you going really deep in the space that you're targeting. And then after that, it then is a reflection of the fact that you can think more broadly, that there's ways in which you can pivot, then it becomes a benefit. But I would always move that to the appendix rather than have it contained within the deck. I sense that this is something really interesting, but I have to fight myself not to just close this down, because I've probably got 10 emails since I started reading this, and my phone is ringing and it's nearly lunchtime, and like...
Yeah, in our previous episode, Julian Zieglerman was saying that we have the attention span, I was saying actually, sorry, I was quoting myself, the attention span of a golden fish, and Julian was saying, it's like 5-10 seconds, as you can lose the person. If you're not grabbing somebody every 5-10 seconds, and in this case it's with your every new slide, you can lose them at any point. For
sure, yeah. And it's not necessary to get all of this across in this deck. Remember that the purpose of this deck is to get a 30-minute phone conversation. That's all that you want.
So the deck is a teaser.
It's a teaser.
That should keep you hungry for more.
This is nice, but I wouldn't feel the need to do this. Investors are always looking for high growth.
Right.
And so this would suggest that it's not high growth.
Right.
But everything that led me up to this point, being data driven, suggested it was. So I now got a little nervous. It's helpful to understand the timeline, but one of the bullets talks about the growth from 2017 to 2018, but then doesn't talk about growth after. So it's only raising flags for me. It suggests that they haven't grown as quickly as that, and that was their high point of growth. So I'm actually more nervous after seeing this than I was before. So if I was 8-9 out of 10 on the concept, I've now probably dropped a couple of points. and it was just a not necessary slide. So you've kind of dropped a couple of points without really needing to have done that. This slide, the bullets contained within here actually are more suited to your market sizing slide, whereas what I thought this would do would be to explain to me the growth plan. And so it's kind of just repeating what I already know, which is that this is a big market, without helping me understand exactly
like
how
what
you're
are the
going to
tactics
do
they
this.
would use to grow, right?
Yeah, like is this a B2C play? Is this a B2B2C play? Which, and you can see it from our conversation earlier. As soon as I know what that is, I now have different things to look for in the product and the execution and the founding team. Your growth plan within that market is important to share, because if you already have the relationships and it's easy for you to break into these clients, then get it on the slide. Because if I see that you've signed 2 up and there's 10 more that you have readily available because of your founder's experience in the past, that's great news. You know, it gives you great confidence that you can continue with that sales journey. Again, lots of words. I'd always recommend just going with a simple graphic.
Right.
Just have a 4-quadrant graphic, show where you sit, show where the competitors sit, have a few data points that help me to understand why it's good for you being in that space that you're in. There may be lots of competitors, but lots of future opportunity. There might be very few competitors. There may be competitors in different sectors. It's all okay. There's no wrong answer. Just make it really easy for me. So again, I know I'm going to have to read this, so I actually skipped this slide and I'll come back to it later. You can see I'm kind of parking some things. Sounds very skilled.
Right, she is.
But I don't know what company she worked for. I don't know what roles she had in those companies. I can see she's won awards. I can see she's creative. So that's wonderful, and it's almost like a LinkedIn bio, but that's not really what I look for. I look for, this is a B2B play. What companies did she work for that she can easily navigate her way into? Some of these pieces are interesting because they probably give her avenues in, but like spell that out for me. You know, don't force me to go back in. So again, I'd have to go to her LinkedIn profile to see what company she worked with and in what roles. And then the rest of the team, again, I don't quite know what they've done and what companies. I didn't learn a whole lot from that slide. Okay, so I've got a contract with Transport for London, so that's great, really interesting. They've given me some dates upon which they're going to be rolled out and some footfall against that. Okay, so this is helping me to understand future potential revenue. That's great. There's lots of numbers within paragraphs. I struggle a little bit with this because they're kind of just data points from different places. 161 million people, 2,000 per month.
It's
advertising
just hard to put together, right?
Yeah, because all I'm trying to do is build a kind of a balance sheet in my head. So like 161 million, what do you convert them at? How much do they spend? How much of that do you keep? So you just do that math in a little funnel, 4 numbers, and you've now got me really excited. Instead, I'm trying to translate this in, and I'll probably get it wrong, the equation I'll use. So that may either suggest this is a much bigger market and that just looks silly, or actually it's much smaller than it really is, and then I'm less interested. So numbers. I'm going to sit down in front of a laptop with this because I'm attempting to join numbers from previous slides to firstly vet that you're numerate enough that your numbers are accurate. I'm going to vet whether or not your growth rates that you quoted match the growth rates you see here. I'm going to test a few different things. Do your costs match roughly with how many people are in your company? So I'm just going to do a bunch of these stress tests. But it's kind of difficult for me to do it, and there's a lot of detail in here. And again, there's a lot of detail within here, so it's almost like
it's like a business plan.
It's like a business plan. It's like an Excel spreadsheet on the slide. So again, I don't need all of this. And again, oh, here we go. Exit opportunities. Okay, so this is nice. These various opportunities. Last 6 months, ranging from 4 to 9 times rev to 12 to 25 times EBITDA. Okay, so that's interesting to know. the natural next question is, what do you think you will exit at?
Right.
Or how big do you need to grow to exit at a particular number?
But I think this is a good slide, and a lot of companies haven't. A lot of founders don't even think about it.
For sure, this is a really good slide. This is a level of detail that I definitely don't see in many decks. So I love that they're thinking about this already. But I guess my point is, within a couple of bullets on your financial side, I think you could have achieved the same thing. And you could also probably have helped me join the dots a bit and get really excited. Because I look at this and go, awesome, there's a market for exits here. I still don't really know what the multiple is. And if you can just help me join the dots a little bit, I'll be much, much more excited. If I think you're almost there, it's a 3-year plan. I don't know, particularly on the back of the fact that the company was set up in 2014. I'm a little nervous as to how long it'll be before they exit. So if you can translate that for me and show me that it's a 3-year play, I'm going to be much more excited. So you can get past your history and the time to get here if you've got a clear path to exit shortly. So that's the end of the deck.
Thank you guys for watching. Send us your decks. We're gonna have more amazing guest investors like Ronan, and we're gonna give you feedback and connect you to this amazing guys. Drop the comment, ask questions. It's gonna be released on all our platforms. We are happy to see you here every time. Bye.
See you guys.